Episode 25, we're back. What's up, everybody?
Yo, what's going on? New seating arrangement.
Yeah,
we talked about it. We followed through.
We kept our promise as always.
We know you can't see.
Nobody can tell.
Nobody knows any different whatsoever.
Everyone's gonna listen to this podcast and go, "I can hear it though."
Yeah, no, they know.
I can hear it though. Everything's better right now.
They absolutely know it. It sounds different. There's just a different vibe in the room now.
I enjoy this.
I think Brandon's got he likes to look at you when he talks to you. We were on opposite sides, and his microphone's like right in the middle. So I think he's gonna sound so much better.
I think I will.
Maybe.
I can already tell
We'll
I
see.
sound better.
Now you're looking one direction. It's good.
Ooh, good band.
So how's
One Direction? Brandon's a One Direction fan? Roll the intro music. I don't want him to answer that.
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up. Look.
Critically Unacclaimed Podcast, the best podcast that nobody's listening to. I am Tyler, here with Brandon and our producer Grayson. And I can't say nobody's listening to it, I guess. Some people are listening to it.
Some people are listening to it, but
There's plenty of folks listening.
there's plenty of folks listening to us. But
We haven't hit Joe Rogan yet, right?
we have not hit Joe Rogan.
We're right behind him.
It's not that, like, when they talk about like the best TV show no one's watching, it doesn't mean that no one's actually watching.
Yeah, it just
And
means
just
that-
because we're the best damn podcast that no one's listening to doesn't mean that people aren't listening to us.
Yeah.
So
Just-
it's perspective.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, Joe Rogan has millions of people that listen to him. We do not.
We know there's people out there craving to listen to us. They just haven't found us yet.
That's what it is. But we don't really do anything to help that.
We're 25 episodes in. Like, if we were a game of Century Club, this is about the time that we start to feel a little bit like woozy. Are you familiar with Century Club?
No.
Is anybody familiar with
No.
Century Club? Oh, okay. So Century Club is where you take a shot of beer a minute, every minute. And Century Club is when you are able to achieve 100 shots of beer in 100 minutes.
1 ounce. 1 ounce.
1
shots?
ounce shots, yes.
Okay.
And so that seems like a very minute task. Because if you really do the math, 100 shots of beer, it's 12 ounces per can, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that like are big drinkers, or you guys are of college age, or if you're where I was when I was like 24, you can drink 10 beers in a night and be fine. Like that's a thing, right? Yeah, you're a little slosh, but you're fine. Right. 10 beers is a good Saturday. So that would be 120 ounces. So you go, wait, that's less than 10 beers. It's the steady flow of alcohol every minute that gets to people. I don't know what it is about this, but it's I wouldn't say it's scientifically proven, but I've seen people that could drink me under the table puke after 40 shots of beers in 40 minutes. Yeah. So
Are you drinking like the whole other time though? Like while you're not doing shots?
You can do whatever you want.
Right.
The point is that once the timer hits a minute, you take a shot. Or you take a shot of beer. You can do whatever you want in between that time.
And if you really think about it, you only have like 59 seconds, 58 seconds to do something other than take a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I would, one of these days, like our podcast typically lasts about 80 some odd minutes, but we'll do like a power hour. That was where at first, the power hour is 60 shots in 60 minutes. Then there's the Century Club. And then me and my friend Lucian, shout out to Lucian, who does not listen to this podcast. But if he did, he would have a giant smile on his face. We are actually members of the Bicentennial Club.
200?
200 shots in 200 minutes. Now, I will tell you that after drinking 200 shots of beer in 200 minutes, no, if you puke, it's done. You don't win. I have a shot glass that has 200 etched in it to show that I didn't puke. What I did do is grab a hold of like both sides of my bed and hold on as it leaped up and started spinning around the ceiling.
Yeah, dude. Beds do that sometimes.
No, I fell down on the ground. I was how do you lay down in the middle of your bed and still like end
Fall
up
to the
on,
ground.
yeah, like I was like my whole body was convulsing left to right, and the human body is not meant for 200 shots of beer in 200 minutes. I did it. I've never done it again. I will never attempt it again. At this point in my age, I don't know that I would ever attempt a Century Club, but I'd smoke a power hour, man. Like, so one of these days. Grayson, you beer drinker?
No, I'm not a beer fan.
Okay, so this will be particularly hard for you, but you're not out of it. Tyler likes beer.
Yeah, I like beer.
But you don't like beer games.
No, not really.
Drinking games.
I used to, right? But like I used to just drink so much that I just literally make myself sick all the time and then puke and rally and keep drinking and like I was just a fiend.
Grayson, this question is specifically for you because I almost know the answer for Tyler, but were you ever to the point, like, did you ever have that, like, where you gauge your level of how much you could drink? Where you were, like, competitive with it?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of course.
like oh, I drank a whole fifth of vodka at the party last night.
Going
you know?
shot for shot.
I hear
Yeah.
that's a white people thing.
Is it a white people
Yeah,
thing?
it's a white people thing.
Right.
Okay. I didn't know that.
According to TikTok, yeah, that's the thing.
It was big in college to...
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest. That whole how much can I drink and that being a big deal, that was like a lot longer span in my life than I like to live on.
I was also never super competitive where I would always bow out before I would puke.
17 to say, I would say probably 17 to 25. But we played those card games, right?
Circle of Death.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Circle of Death, Bus Driver,
We
Governor,
were big
which I think people called Presidents and Assholes.
Yeah, I was a big. We did a lot of the beer pong and the flip cup and stuff like that.
There was a game called Fuck the Dealer, and I, for the life of me, cannot remember.
Oh, I used
What
to
the
play
rules
that.
were.
Too.
Yeah, but like some of these games, I can't even remember how to play them.
Yeah.
Pyramid. Well, I called it Pyramid. My buddy John, shout out to John, called it the Pyramid game. He refused to call it Pyramid because he didn't like puns.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, like he was like, but he's like a big dude, and people would be like, "Oh, let's play Pyramid," and be like, "Pyramid game," and they're like, "Yeah, but Pyramid." And he's like, "No, I'm not fucking playing that." And you'd be like, you know what? It's the Pyramid game. Like he was pretty menacing. So
It's kind of a dick move.
Okay. So I remember those times where we played a bunch of games. That went to like beer pong. We started playing beer pong and flip cup and more active games.
yeah.
I think it was because when we'd sit around a table and try to be as quiet as possible. When we were underage, because we didn't want like the cops called to our
Right.
party. But then once you become of age, it's like, let's just get loud and raucous and let's
Right.
do the beer Olympics and everything. So I did all that.
Well,
Beer
did
Olympics
you have
are
a did you have a bar, like a bar? What am I trying to say? Like
A home bar?
no, just like a bar stage, I guess, where you just like I'm 21 now. I'm gonna go to every bar I can.
Oh,
yes.
and just get fucking.
Oh
drunk.
yeah, no, when I turned 21, it was like, oh, let's go out. That did not last long for me though.
Oh, see, it lasted a long time.
I
for me.
was-
like 2 or 3 years.
No,
probably.
I mean it was like,
and then it went away, and then it would come back. Like I was a social butterfly. I like to be out and about.
well, so was I. It's not that I was like sitting at home drinking with like 2 buddies and that was it. Like I liked having people
house
over
parties
and
and
stuff.
stuff.
House parties were the funnest.
See, I used
Right.
to.
I'm way more into house
I
parties.
used to throw a ton of house parties.
yeah.
And I tell you, they would get too fucking out of hand. Like,
No, okay, yes, I agree.
And we had to shut them down. Like I shut those down probably about the time I was like 25. I was like, because I had nice shit, and my shit would always get broken. So
Yeah.
whenever I was like, I kind of. I felt like around that time, like my group of friends, we all kind of grew up a little bit,
Yeah.
and we just kind of quit having the house parties. But
Yeah.
we were just like, we were fucking crazy. So it's like, we couldn't get us all in a house together without like shit fucking gonna happen.
No, I never had a problem with like my group of friends. It was like
My
others.
friends are crazier than cat shit.
The others, though, the acquaintances, and then the acquaintances, because like after a certain time, your house parties aren't really like planned. They're like, I got drunk enough at the bar that I was like, after party, somebody leave at 1 o'clock so they can hit the gas station to do a beer run before we go home.
Right.
Right. And then you end up with a bunch of drunk people. Half of them you don't know.
Yeah.
And that shit's never a good recipe for success.
I never did much of the bar after parties at the bars.
I'll be honest. Once I've drank at a bar, like if I'm there at bar close, like I don't need to go to an after party.
I was always more interested at that time when I was going to the bars, like looking for girls. Like honestly,
yeah, that's why. Yeah, but so looking for girls.
If I knew I wasn't gonna fight, if I knew I wasn't gonna go home with a girl, or it wasn't, then I would just get super fucking drunk and just go home. So.
No, but what if you're like working on it? You're working on trying to get with a girl when you're at the bar, right? And you're working on it and you're working on it. And then it's the end of regulation and we're still tied. What do you got to do? After party. Because that's overtime. I'm hooking up.
Nah.
Like, no, yeah, you're going to come over to my house like I'm having an after party. And it's like, oh, cool. And then you like invite them over and there's like 14 people that you don't give a shit if they're at your house or not, just as long as she comes. And then she doesn't show up and you're like, fuck, now I got 14.
Yeah, that's why I never did that.
The after parties are the overtime of hooking up.
I don't. I guess I never needed overtime.
Like, let's just call it a tie, and I'll go home and jack off.
I never need. Maybe, or I just never needed overtime. I don't know, but
never needed overtime. Look, I either land the deal or I lose. That's just how it is.
That's kind of the way it works. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. I never want. I like when I'm done hanging out with people. I'm fucking done hanging out with people. Man.
No, I agree.
Like and again, it kind of come back to like those early years, like really it was like probably like 19, 20, 21. Like that's when we started really having those banger fucking house parties. And I just don't like having a bunch of people at my house. I had one party, I think it was like a New Year's party, like 2012. Like it was like the opening of 2012. Like, and that was the last party that I threw. And fuck again, it was a fucking shit show. Like there's fucking people fucking sleeping out in the yard and shit. And it was just like, good God, like
and maybe this came with age, but I actually prefer now. I do like to sit around and drink like with 3 or 4 people at a table. And I think that's what started this whole Power Hour Century Club thing, because we weren't playing games. We were just shooting the shit, right? Which is really how this podcast came about, right? Like you're sitting around a table, you're shooting shit with your friends. But you got to be doing something. Mm-hmm. It's like, I like board games. But board games can get like encompassing to where you don't actually get to shoot the shit. You're playing the game.
You get too enthralled.
Or we all our nerd games, Magic the Gathering and whatnot, like all my Axis and Allies games. Those are really in depth, and you end up just talking about that game. And so, what are we going to do? We're going to drink. So then, Power Hours and it was funny because, every minute you just hear somebody go drink, and you'd pass around the phone so that somebody else would monitor from time to time. Somebody gets so drunk and then they'd be like, oh shit, take 2 shots. I'm sorry, guys. I'd be like, man, it just seems like it's been a long time since I took a shot of beer. And you get really good at it to the point where like, you're like taking a shot and they're like, what are you doing? And then all of a sudden you hear shot. You manage your minutes really well. The other thing is you get done really early, right? Because after 100 shots, 100 beers, you're good and slosh. You only need about another 60 minutes before you pass out. That's not a lot. That's 200 minutes. Right. That's 3 hours, 20 minutes. If you start that shit at 7 o'clock, you can be at work at 7 in the morning and be fine.
Right, you're in bed.
So here's the thing: is I got to where I just don't like to get really wasted anymore. And that's why I don't drink a lot really anymore. Like I'm one of those people to where I'll really like get involved in anything and I'll go fucking hard in the paint in that thing. And but when I'm done with it, I'm just kind of done with it. Man. I just don't keep going.
I don't do it nearly as much as I used to. Obviously, in fact, I don't know that
you're an adult.
I don't know that I drink. Yeah, I don't even know that I drink heavy once a month. Like I don't even know if that's a thing. But and I don't, it's weird, I don't casually drink very much either. Like I don't just go have a couple cocktails after work or have a beer after a hard day. Like that doesn't happen very often either. You
know what I do like to do is like, and we went to that what was that place you went to Like, what kind of style restaurant was that?
Brazilian.
Brazilian.
We went to Ray Rico.
Yeah, so like
shout out to Ray Rico.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was
all
all
you
right.
can eat meat.
And but I normally would get a beer or something there. Like I usually I like drinking a beer with like dinner and stuff like that, and then maybe drinking 2. You know, like I do like that, and that's where I drink more now. Is like when I'm eating or like sitting down to watch a movie, I'll have like a beer or something.
Right.
But
Go to the Alamo.
And I always drink those fancy beers. My buddy Tyler, he called them hipster beers. He took a drink of one. He's like, fucking hipster. And I was just like, dude, it's an IPA. It's good. It was like Voodoo IPA. It's good. I got some in there. You should try it. It's awesome.
So I brought back, or I actually didn't bring back, but I've got 3 cases of Yingling at my house.
Oh, yeah, Yingling's good.
You were on the other
Yingling's
side
fantastic.
of the
I was on the other side of the Mississippi, decided to get Yingling. Yingling is my favorite beer. For those anybody that are listening that don't know, Yingling is not nationally distributed. And it is not distributed in Missouri, but it is distributed in Arkansas and Louisiana and Florida. And so when you go and visit those places, you should pick up a 6-pack or a case, and you can send it to Critically Unacclaimed. What's your address, Tyler? No, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm not doing that. But I think, I've seen it here in stores before, but it'd be like a limited time thing.
I don't know that you did.
I have seen it. I'm pretty sure
Maybe.
I've seen it at Hy-Vee, but I could be wrong.
If it's in Arkansas, it's
A lot of people
across the Mississippi.
A lot of people, it's in Arkansas, but it's not Missouri. And there's actually like Arkansas border
maybe
gas stations that
Delta
have big
area.
signs that say "Come get your Yingling." So I don't know that it would be that big of a deal if you.
Is it a American-made beer? I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's actually the oldest American-made beer.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yes, it's actually
you've had it. I've tried it.
Yingling
It's good.
sounds like Asian in some
yeah.
way, but it's not. It's not at all. It's just a lager, and it's like Pittsburgh, Philadelphia. It's a Pennsylvania-based brewery,
Oh, I gotcha.
but it's the oldest brewery. So it's very good beer.
Nice.
So back to the 100 shots in 100 minutes. We'll do the power hour. I'm already setting this up. I'm thinking 2 weeks from 2 weeks from this episode. That way you guys can get signed up. I will say that I don't. When I do get to drink, I drink. Like, I mean, it's like one of those rare
You do go
things.
hard when we go to the casino.
I do go hard.
Vacation.
It's vacation drinking is the best. I was about to say that. Thank you, Grayson.
I'll go pretty hard at the casino usually.
If you can walk to your bed and still be like vacationing or doing something, that's the best.
Absolutely.
Right? Like if you're in the casino and it's like, oh yeah, no, I'm enjoying it. This is why I'm here. But I can also get hammered, and I also don't have to drive or worry about how to get home.
It's like being at home, but downstairs
Yes.
is a casino.
Yeah, downstairs is everybody, and everybody's there. It's a big house party, but you get to go upstairs and not hear any of those.
And you don't have to
assholes.
worry about cleaning up.
Yes, no, it's fantastic.
Your floors aren't sticky the next day.
Also, the oxygen level and the fact that there's no windows, and like the fact that like the casino is just like prime time to get hammered.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
But I will say that I don't. Yeah, no, I don't remember the last time I went out to a bar in Springfield.
Yeah, it's
I
been
went to
a long
Bourbon
time.
Street when I was in New Orleans.
We went to the coffee house, which was kind of a bar down there that one time.
I had one drink.
But we had coffee. Like,
I had one
you
drink.
You did have
I did
a
have
drink.
one- I had
You did
one
have a
drink.
there.
Is that Mud Lounge?
Mud Lounge,
Was that where it
yes.
was at? Because
Yeah.
there's two. Like there's Mud Lounge and something else.
No,
Downtown.
the Mud House is
Mud
just a
House,
coffee
yeah.
shop, and the Mud Lounge is the coffee shop / bar.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah.
That was the first time being to either one, I think. So
No, it's a good place to chill. I like it. I like the
It's not
the
bad.
It's a good
ambiance.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a chill vibe.
Yeah, so I do have this weird, and I started telling this story when I was like 30. I'd say like when we hit 30, and I had friends that I don't have nearly as many friends now, but I used to when I hit 30, I had a multiple amount of friends, but we were all getting up to the age where like we just didn't do crazy shit anymore.
yeah,
And so like it wasn't like, hey, it's Saturday night, what are you guys all up to? It's like, nah, I'm staying home, or yeah, I've got, living with a
It's
girl or
almost like-
whatever. I had kids, so like it wasn't like every Saturday that I got to go out. And so it was like, hey, we're going to do it this night. And like Facebook invites, it's like we're going out and we're drinking this night. We're going to set it out like 30 days in advance, and like we're just going to live it up. And
I've never done that. Really, we should do that.
no, it is. It's fun. Well, it gives you something to look forward to, and then
Right.
also like you can plan around it to make sure like, hey, I'm going to be off the next day. I don't have anything going on that day. Like me and like 4 or 5 of my friends are going to get crazy, and so I mentioned there was a story, and it's the story about the lion and the hyenas. Have I told you this story, Tyler?
No.
Grayson, I know I haven't told you this story. So
Oh, I think I may have heard this.
any time that my friends start to doubt that we can do this, right? And I'm 36 now, and there's a really good chance I can't do it, but I would tell myself this story then. I talk about the lion and the hyenas, right? So a lot of people know that lionessi, and the female lions are the ones that are actually the hunters of the pack, right? There's usually just one giant male that just kind of lays about.
He's a protector.
And protects the pride, protects the cubs, and the lionesses bring him the food, right? And so he just kind of lays there, right? He's lazy, he's big, he's just, whatever. And so as he's laying there and he doesn't move much, the hyenas will start and the jackals will start coming about, right? And I always think of the hyenas and jackals as like college kids and like kids in their mid-20s, right?
Right.
Like kids that were where I was 10 years ago or 12
yeah.
years ago or whatever, when I was like, oh, I can drink 14 beers and it doesn't even faze me. I'm not even hammered.
Right.
6 shots and whatever. So I always picture them. They're the hyenas and jackals. We were all hyenas and jackals at one point.
Absolutely.
Right? But we're lions. We're the big lions. We just lay there and we don't do anything. And so then the hyenas and the jackals, they start to get a little hairy and they see all this food that the lionesses are bringing to this lion, right? And so the jackals will start going and they'll start nipping at the food, right? And they're like, that lion's not fucking moving. Like, this is basically our territory. Like, that lion, hell, he could be dead. I don't even know. So they start nipping at the food. And then they get a little braver. They start dragging carcasses away. And they're just like, fuck it. Like, he's not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, the jackals and the hyenas, they'll start even getting bolder. They'll start nipping at the lion's toes, and the lion just like, ugh, and just like moves over, or like will get up and take a couple steps and just lay back down, just like, okay, I'll get out of your way, right? And so they'll just keep fucking with this lion. And then all of a sudden, the lion will look over at one of the hyenas, and he'll raise a claw, and he'll thrust it towards the hyena and rip its fucking head off. Guess who's still the king of the fucking jungle? Every now and then, even if you're 36,
You got to go shoot.
you got to go take on the jackals and the hyenas and let them know that you're still fucking king.
Yeah.
They can have their time in the sun. They can have a good time. They can party. And they can, talk shit and be young and fucking full of cum and all that shit.
But when it's your time to come out,
But every once in a while,
Like,
the lions have to come out and say, "No,
get the fuck out of my way.
This is still my jungle. This is still my savannah." Where the fuck is a lion?
Yeah.
Is it savannah? Yeah,
They
the
would chill
savannah.
in the
Yeah.
savannah.
Yeah.
Savannah lion.
So either way, this is my fucking bar. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like, so this is, I've been drinking since before you could, like, I don't know. Oh God. Shit, man. I've been drinking for 15 years. If they're 22 years old, they're 7 years old. They were probably still wet in their bed when I was legal to drink. And it's time to show them that.
I think with me, it's like the last, like if all of my old drinking buddies and stuff from back in the day, partying buddies, if we get together, it's just usually if we all get together, it's too much of a shit show. Like, it's too much.
It probably still, yeah.
It's still, like, I feel like it still could be. Like, I don't know. Like, somebody, like, especially my buddy's brother is crazy as fuck. And if he listens, he probably knows exactly what I'm talking about. But he'll get in a fight, like, just drop a fucking hat, dude. Like, I kind of want to tell a story.
Yeah.
Like of this night that we had at this apartment. And this was just a random night. And it was just like, we had a lot of like get-togethers and stuff at this apartment. A lot of apartment parties and stuff like that. It was Healy Pines. It was over there off of Ingram Hill. Dude, it was a sick deal, man. Like, we were so stupid, like, to get kicked out of this place. But, like, they didn't actually evict us. But, like, when our lease was up, they said they didn't want us to sign again. And they wanted us to leave as soon as possible.
They just wrote out the clock on you
Yes,
guys.
they did. And so... So this was one of our first real. This was one of the first times that we had these get-togethers, and I think it just spiraled off because this one was so much fun. So we were just all like sitting around. It was a casual night. We were just playing poker, right? Like Hold'em, right? And then like my buddy Travis, shout out Travis, he comes over and he's got a whole bunch of Jaeger. And then, like, so, like, you know, there was, like, probably, like, 6 dudes that are, like, 20 to 22 years old. And they like drinking Jaeger, right?
Yeah.
So, like...
So this is back when Jaeger was, like, super popular,
Because
like
we had some
every
Red Bulls.
Yeah,
like, you know...
Jaeger bombs, Jaeger bombs.
You do Jaeger bombs, and then you just mix you up, like, you know, a half glass of Jaeger, half a thing of Red Bull, and just
Jaeger and
Right.
Fireball's not like this anymore. Like, it's like drinking is... like frozen in time for me, because when I finally was like, I'm not going to the bars anymore, Fireball was huge.
It's still pretty popular.
Okay, but before Fireball was Jaeger. You guys remember?
Yeah.
Jaeger
Jaeger
Red Bull was a
bombs.
big deal. Jaeger bombs, but you also remember that like they would just mix everything with Jaeger. It was like Jaeger and Goldschlager was a starry night.
Yeah.
Right, and it's just like
Because it was a popular drink. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it tastes like shit.
they
Let's
did
be
the
honest.
same thing. I mean, do they still do the same thing with Red Bull? Because like it used to just be like Red Bull and vodka.
Well, that
Red Bull and
pretty
whiskey.
popular.
They have
Red Bull
they
and
have a whole
Jaeger.
bunch of different stuff
All the
now.
different
Like
flavors of Red
monsters
Bull.
are used and stuff. Like they have a bunch of different stuff. It
Okay,
just depends on
anyways,
what bar you go to.
So anyway, so Jaeger's really, really popular. He brings over a ton of Jaeger. You guys are 20 to 22.
these are these
Go.
like 2 of these big like half gallon fucking things, like with the pumps on them, you know.
Jesus Christ, he stole them from a bar.
I don't know where he got them, but he comes in and he's like packing them like he's like doing like curls with them, you know, like dancing on the way in.
He's got a
Like-
mission, and he's about to involve
Oh
you guys.
yes, so like Travis had just broke up with his girlfriend. So not too long ago, and
those nights are
he was
crazy.
like he was
though.
like coming out to party, right? Like, you know, this was him coming out to party, and
Yeah.
like
I'm out of my shell. I'm
Right.
over the breakup. It's time for me to like do something stupid.
right.
Yeah.
And
reckless.
I'm not going to mention his last name, but we'll call him Travis. I should have probably named him a different name, but
You could have still said that's not his real name, but you didn't. You doubled down.
I know I did. I doubled down.
Sorry,
But-
Travis.
But anyway, so all these girls show up, and like I don't remember who they were. I think there were some girls from high school, and at this point, everybody's super fucking wasted. And my roommate at the time was the Destroyer, and the Destroyer had to work at like 4:00 in the morning. He had to be at work. He had this weird fucking job, dude. The weekends were so hard for the Destroyer to get to work on time. It was too early in the fucking morning to get to work on time for the Destroyer. And especially on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, or Saturday night, it's hard to get to
Because
work.
everybody's drinking.
Everybody's
like you can't
getting
like
fucked up.
You know, and it's not even like he was probably going to bed trying to go to sleep. Like he wanted to party too.
He was really fucking drunk, and he was trying to go to bed, go to sleep. Well, there's this girl who kept like going and fucking with them in the room. And she was a heavier set girl, but she was pretty cute. But we found out she's only like 17, like 16
shit.
or 17. And the Destroyer's like, oh, you know, you can't do this, you know, like blah blah blah. Well, like anyway, all the girls leave, and at this point, everybody's super fucking drunk, except for me, because I just don't like. I like to drink, get a good buzz going, get pretty drunk, and then I'll just kind of settle down, you know, maybe just like drink some beers, you know, a little bit. And like that's just me. I just don't, because I had to work, I think, the next morning too.
Eh.
So it's just like, but I was kind of watching everybody because it was my apartment.
Yeah.
And the Destroyer he really needed to go to sleep because he had to get up way earlier than I did. I didn't have to be work till like 10.
Everybody needs a mother hen.
So,
Go
right,
ahead.
like I had to kind of watch it.
Every group needs one.
Or a lion.
Sometimes it was me, sometimes it was other people, sometimes there was none, and that's when it got really out of control. But in this particular case, Trav was super fucked up, and anyway, we're sitting there playing poker, and people's just talking shit, and like he's just talking shit, and he's like, "Where's the Destroyer?" And we're like, "Oh, he's in his room, he's trying to sleep," and he's like, "Oh shit, that fat bitch was trying to rape him."
Oh my god.
So he just runs down the hallway, and the destroyer room was at the end of the hallway. It was just like the hallway went down, and then there was the door, and he just jumps and like 2-leg drop kicks the door open. And this is at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and the chick had already gone. Matt, like the destroyer's in there sleeping, and like he just goes, "Get off him!" and just kicks the door open, just shatters the door frame, and he's like, "Get off of him, you fat bitch!" And destroyer's like, "What the fuck are you doing in my room, you motherfucker?" And he's like, "I'm saving you from that bitch." Like there's nobody in there. It's
Right,
just
everybody gone home.
Yeah, he just got home. And anyway, the next like couple days later, he feels real bad, and he comes and he's like, "Hey man, I got some stuff. Like, let's go fix that door." So we go in there and we like fuck around with the door for a minute, and I'm just like, "Well, I got some weed. You want to watch? You want to smoke some weed?" He's like, "I got Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and let's watch that and smoke some weed." So that's what we did. And here's the thing: me and Trav have been like best friends ever since.
Oh,
So
that's how you met Trav.
I've known Travis since we were in kindergarten.
But that was like
That was like the moment that we became like really good friends. We were always good friends, like growing up, because we went to a really small school.
Yeah.
And like and so that was kind of but that was when we like after high school, we were like 20 years old or whatever, and we are like, I think we're gonna hang out. And
I want you next week. Let's go ahead and pencil it in, Grayson. Don't let us forget. Next week, you're going to tell us why Destroyer is named Destroyer.
That's really simple, actually.
No. I want the bar story. Maybe that's not why he's called the Destroyer, but I want the bar story. Yes, I want that story really bad.
Which one?
The one where he flips the table over.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, so stay
might
tuned.
have
Stay
to-
tuned, Undeclaimers, because this is actually a really good story. I like Tyler's stories quite a bit.
We might have to wait on that one, because that's a good one, and we might have to build up. I got a couple of lower grade stories.
Everybody's going to want to tune in for the lower grade stories, knowing that there's this monster.
I think they're all really good, but I mean, it's just like, when you're running a season of stories, like
Right,
if
you
we're
gotta
gonna
build up.
you got to build up. You can't like have the best episode be the next one, right? And that story is awesome, by the way. Like that there's so many layers to that story on so many different levels. And here's the thing,
You know how,
I can introduce people. And like this was a good starting out point for stories, because this is really the this one we're kicking the door in. Like
Trying to protect his friend.
Is that the story that was the foundation for FUBAR?
It's funny.
Yes,
because
yes,
you guys were 20 to 22, right?
We were 20 years old, 19 to 20.
19 to 20, right? And this girl was 16 or 17. She's underage, like, and so I think it's hilarious that Travis's frame of mind, where he was at, was that he wanted to save Destroyer from the heavyset girl, as opposed to I gotta save Destroyer from like doing something really bad and illegal.
Yeah.
He didn't even. He's like, I think she's 16. No, it was, oh my gosh, she's not up to snuff for Destroyer standards. You get off my friend. Now, the worst part is like, what would have happened if that girl actually was with Destroyer? Was he gonna like kick her off?
I don't know.
Get off my friend.
It was literally like 2.5 hours later, like after they'd already gone home. Like we were just like that fucked up. Like oh man. Like, but I could introduce. I want to introduce some characters before I get to that. I'm gonna call that story the Preston Bar story, because that's where it takes place. So the Preston Bar story is one that has to come later.
Drinking does cause you to time loop. Like you can drink and like party and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Where's Larry?"
Yeah,
and it's like, dude, Larry went home 3 hours ago.
Oh yeah,
it's like I was just sitting and talking to the motherfucker, and it's like, no, dude, that was at like 8 at night. Yeah. It is now 3 in the morning.
You've been playing beer pong
partying for
4.5
hours.
Like
you've been doing. And it's funny because it could be like that. You're like, because the person that's telling you is that drunk too. So they're like, it was like 8 at night. No, it was at midnight.
Yeah.
And it's like 3 in the morning. No, it's 2. But that was like 7 hours ago. No, it was 4 hours ago. But it all boils down to nobody can keep track of time if everybody is hammered.
So Grayson, I got to ask you, how hard is it to bleep out his name?
His name? It won't be difficult.
You said his name a lot.
It's not difficult.
I kind of feel bad about it, and I want to name him something else.
So
That's not going to happen.
At this point, it'll just be a beep. Like,
Okay, that's fine. But the beep.
It's not
in
it's
the
not
previous
hard work. It's just a lot of it.
If you need help, I'll help you.
Yeah, no.
But the
I
beep is the big deal. We're gonna
Could
call
we,
him the big
could
deal.
we just patch in Tyler
So,
going?
so I can't replace it with the big deal.
No, that's fine. It'll just be a
beep.
beep. But know that I'm referring to the big deal.
Can't we just patch in Tyler right before the story starts and just like stop the
And just
recording
record?
and just record Tyler going,
The big deal.
just go. It's my buddy. I don't want to like name him by name, so we'll just call him Travis. Oh, you have to beep again.
God. It's
Okay.
fine. I have the highest salary of everybody, so it'll be okay.
I'm minus $14 a month for this podcast, so I think you might actually have the highest salary with the. It hasn't cost you anything yet.
Just time.
Oh, but yeah, no. So drinking, I didn't know it was going to be a drinking episode. I do enjoy swapping stories like that. That's honestly, when you get together now, that's really all it is now, right?
Reminiscing
like
about
there's
the old days.
there's not a lot of like news stories that pop up for someone in their mid 30s. They're just like I don't have a lot of wild stories about. I would say about
We could, the casino story was pretty funny.
5 to 6 years ago. 5 to 6 years ago, I got in my last bar fight. It had been the first bar fight I'd been in probably 5 years because I thought when I was 25 I was done with bar fights.
Same.
And then about 30, 31, something happened, one of those lion nights, that caused me to get into a bar fight. I haven't been in a bar fight since. I really didn't want to be in a bar fight then, but it was just something that had to happen.
Did you get in a lot of fights as a bouncer? Like when you were like a doorman or a bouncer up there?
Not in a lot of fights, but like it happened. I don't count those as bar fights because I was just doing my job. I was stopping fights, right?
Yeah, throwing people
Like
out.
I don't throw
always
closed fists when I was a bouncer.
It always seems too like when the bouncer gets involved, people just don't want to fuck with that guy. Like
No.
they don't want to test them. Like I don't know.
Well, so the bar that I was at, there was 4 of us. So it's like, hey, if you mess with that guy, you got to mess with the other 3.
Mm-hmm.
And like none of us were small.
Yeah.
Say they usually
So-
don't have small bouncers.
It's weird because if you get drunk enough that you're bucking up to a bouncer, you probably shouldn't be in the bar anyway. So we just kick him out.
Right.
Like it really wasn't a big deal. At no point in time have I ever like feared for my safety as a bouncer. I've had people charge at me, but
You're just like
it was the situation. Yeah, you know what? I'll tell you the sober one that's pissed off because it's 11 o'clock and everybody's drunk other than you. Like you don't mess with that guy.
Yeah.
You don't mess with that guy. Like he's already in a different place. So maybe just leave him alone.
Yeah, he's at work. Like don't fuck with him. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, there's some funny bouncing stories too, but none of them are probably as funny as like
Are you going to tell your last fight story?
my last fight story.
Yeah, what happened? Do you remember?
Yeah, no, I remember. Okay, so I went out with a buddy. This was 2015. So I would have been 30, 31. Went out with a bunch of buddies. We drank quite a bit. And me and this other buddy, I'm going to name him Tyler. No, I'm not going to name him Tyler. That's super... what am I going to name this guy? Grayson, give me a name. Fred. Okay, so me and Fred are known to get into trouble. Like, when we go out, like, we don't know how to stop. Like, so... which is probably why I don't hang out with Fred nearly as much as I used to. But we would get ourselves into, like, we would do shenanigans and tomfoolery, and we'd get ourselves in brouhahas. Was that enough? Was that enough vernacular? So after the bar, it was like, let's go to a strip club. So we went to a strip club, me and Fred. And that one was okay. We drank there too. And then we decided to go to the strip club across the street. Because if you're having fun at a strip club and you're drunk and you're a 30-year-old guy, apparently the next step is to go to a different one.
Yeah.
Like, like, hey, this thing that's going on,
Let's see
that's just going just fine. Let's see if we can mess that up. and let's go to the next bar. So I went to the next strip club, and we went out there. We sat down. Everything was going fine. You know how strip clubs are. For those of you that are listening that don't know how strip clubs are, I would suggest just going to one, and they're all pretty much the same. So you're hanging out the main stage, you go back to your table, you're doing drinks, people come up, ask you if you want to dance, blah, 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 blah. So out the back door was a little patio, and there was a few steps that went down to the street, but it was only like a 10-foot by 12-foot enclosure. Right. And then it was privacy fence. It's the smoking area. So me and my buddy went out and we smoked a cigarette, and we came back in, or at least I thought we came back in, but we didn't. I thought maybe Fred went to the bathroom or whatever. I get back to the table. I order another drink. I'm drinking. One of the girls comes up. She starts talking to me. I'm a social butterfly.
Time
so
goes by.
I'm just talking to this girl, right? Like, I mean, whatever. And so I'm ordering another drink, and I realize that the drink that I ordered from my buddy is still sitting there, and Fred has been disappeared. I'm like, how long have we been talking? She goes, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. I was like, where's my buddy? So I walk back out, and I'm looking around for him. I go to the bathroom. There's no one in the bathroom. I go out, and I'm like, well, maybe he's smoking another cigarette. So I go out, and when me and Fred went to go smoke a cigarette, it was just me and Fred. Mm-hmm. That was the only people that were out there. Now I'm out there, and there's 3 people on the 4-foot by 4-foot landing. There's a guy on the steps, and then there's 2 guys over, like, in the pavement, but we're still in this 10 by 12 enclosure. And then all of a sudden I look over, and there's my buddy Fred leaning against the table at the bottom, or leaning against the fence at the bottom of the stairs with a giant gash over his forehead. And he's looking, and like, we were hammered. So like, he looks drunk, but he also looks like he just got the shit kicked out of him. And so I look over, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I said, who did this to my friend? And as soon as I got friend out, there was a guy on the steps that turned around and faced me and started to put his hand up. The second he went to put his hand up, I just jumped off the deck with my fist and just planted it right into his face, knocked him right off the steps. I went down with him, right? Because this is probably about 5 feet off the ground. And I mean, I flying squirreled him is what I did. Was it the Pesci punch?
Yeah.
Where you really just put all your body weight into it. So that's what I did to the guy. And I mean, I connected. I felt that I connected, but then we both fell down onto the ground. Well, I'm hammered. I don't even think about it. But everybody else, they're that guy's friends. So I'm down on the ground, and there's now 6 guys kicking the living crap out of me. Yeah, and the only thing I can do is I can grab the limp body of the guy that I hit and start moving him around to block some of the kicks. And to me, it probably felt like Jackie Chan, like I was protecting myself with this guy's body. But it was probably just looked more like 2 drunk slugs just rolling around. And my buddy Fred, he's out of it. He's bleeding, the blood's going down his eye and stuff. And so he's just like, he doesn't even really know what to think. And then the bouncers come. Thank God for the bouncers. They break it all up. My ribs were a little bit sore. I got a couple kicks in. The guy that I hit got up. He was limp for a while. Like, I was like, man, I hope I didn't really hurt the guy or something, but they broke us all up, kicked us all out of the bar. And as I'm walking out to the bar, I'm like, out of the bar, they're all sitting out there at the car. And I look over at the bouncer, and I'm like, I mean, this is just going to start in the parking lot. Like, normally when I was a bouncer, which I'm sure they just fucking love it. When you're like the guy they're kicking out, it's like when I was a bouncer, I was like, one of us needs to leave, like, first. And then the other ones need to leave. And he's like, okay. And he's like, hey, guys, get out of here. And all of a sudden the guy that I hit turns around and looks at me. And his face is just bashed in. I mean, I got him good. I mean, his whole right side of his face is just swollen, and he's got a big black eye that he's like got matted shut. Like, I got him good. I didn't even realize how good I got him. So he turned and looked at me, and I'm drunk. I'm a little fired up. I start laughing. I'm like, oh my God, dude, your face. How'd that happen? And so the bouncer's like, okay, you have to go too. We're calling the cops. So I was like, all right, let's get out of here. I go to get in my car, realize I don't have my car keys. To this day, I have no idea what happened to those car keys. Like, we were stranded. So my buddy's girlfriend comes and picks him up. I don't want to leave my car because they're not leaving. I'm afraid they're going to bash my windows. You know, I'm like, oh, great. And I can't find my keys. I assume that the bouncers have them. And I was like, I'm not going to drive, but I need my car keys.
That dude looking at you, he was looking at you because he had the keys.
He had my car keys. They must have fell out of my
you.
pocket. Yeah, so they're just waiting for me. And I'm like, no, I'm not leaving. Bouncer's like, you have to leave. I was like, I can't, guys. I don't have a car. So finally I get a hold of one of my buddies that comes and picks me up. And I have to leave my car. And
was it okay?
It was fine. They didn't mess with my car, but I still have no idea what happened to those car keys. It's kind of a weird. I mean, I'm sure they came out of my pocket when I was down on the ground getting the shit kicked out of me. But so I was 31. That was like 5 years ago, and that's
not 7 years. This guy's gonna hear it, and he's gonna come find you. And
yeah,
press
no,
charges.
that's fair. Well, I mean, he really did do that.
Beep.
I'll throw another beep.
Thank you. Fred
I do remember.
does
this
not
story.
remember what happened. I am 100% sure it was Fred's fault. Fred talks a lot of shit. Fred doesn't necessarily back it up all the time. I'm 100% sure that Fred said something, and he's kind of clean cut. Mm-hmm. And the guys that were kicking the shit out of me were a little roughed up. So maybe they said something to him,
right?
About or whatever. But I am sure they said something, and he snapped back at him, even though there was 6 of them, and he just assumed that no one would do anything, and then he ended up with a giant bloody wound. Right. But he does not remember how it started. He's not even real sure how he got the cut. He doesn't remember who hit him. And I was like, I'll tell you who hit you. It was the guy that raised his hand. And if it wasn't, that was a really stupid move to raise your hand.
What if Fred fell off the steps and hit his head?
No.
No.
It was very no. The guy there was a fight.
The guy.
That's why there were so many people out there. There was a fight. That's all that we really know.
It's hard. Your friends talking shit, and then you have to stand up for him.
Don't you hate it when your friends are wrong?
If in that situation, I don't even know if I would even have got into it. I would have had a been there type of deal for me to really even get involved. I wouldn't have walked out and started more shit. Especially after it was already said and done.
It's weird. Well, no, I didn't start. I was when he looked at me and I said that. That was probably. But the thing is you should have saw his face. I was like, I did that. I was like, I didn't realize that I had the power of Rocky Balboa. I did not realize that my right cross could wreck a bitch.
When you come off the top ropes like that.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. And I'm not a small guy, so he got every bit of.
Was he a big dude or not really?
He was
all right.
Yeah, he was a decent sized dude. I was probably bigger than him, but I don't know by much. And it's not like he didn't have 5 of his friends, so it's fine. It was a fair fight.
It was fair. It was fair.
No, I'm sure he got, and maybe my punch isn't what did it. Because like I said, I moved him around, and his buddies were kicking the shit out of him right along with me. We were all hammered.
The last time I got in a fight, this guy told me and a buddy of mine that we were really cute and asked if we wanted to go home with him. And my buddy calmly explained to him that we weren't gay, but that was fine that he was. We didn't care, and we would continue drinking with him because he was there. We were buying shots. It was my buddy Moose's birthday, and so
am I gonna have to keep that one too?
No, that's fine. We'll keep that one in, even though he'll know exactly.
Moose and Destroyer is okay.
Yeah, that's the nickname. So, but anyway. We were all buying, I bought a shot for Moose, and that dude bought a shot, and for the other guy, and then that guy bought a shot for us, and and we were, drinking pitchers and stuff like that. Well, he told them that, and Moose was really calm and was like, "Hey man, it's cool. We just don't, we bat for the other team, no big deal. You're cool though, whatever." And anyway, the guy tried to steal his beer. And then we were like, hey, this guy, now he got real quiet after that, got real weird. and like try to steal his beer, like, you know, and stuff. And he's like, hey man, you can't steal my beer. Like, you know, you can get one right over there. Like, go ahead and order one if you want one. Like, I'll buy you one if you need one. And he's like, no, I want yours. And then like, and he's like, no, you can have mine. And so anyway, they end up kicking him out of the bar, but nobody watched him. Nobody knew that he didn't leave. And so he comes into the bar, and like I'm sitting to the right of Moose, and he just comes in, and I feel him walk right past me at the bar, and he just fucking punches Moose right in the face. Like, just walks in and just nails him, dude. So I'm like, what the fuck? And like, after I figure out what's going on, I just kind of slide up, and I just grab the dude by the collar, and I just start freaking hitting him, and like, you know, just like start
because
from behind and start
moment,
punching his face.
Yeah.
And like, and it's just, he's got Moose wrapped up like in like a chokehold. So I'm trying to get him to let go of Moose, and he finally does. And then Moose gets up and turns around, and Moose is a big dude, man. Obviously, his name is Moose, and he just freaking punches him like a good like 1-2, and the guy goes down to the ground. And then like, for some reason, this is where I feel bad. I guess I just like took out a bunch of anger on this guy. I just started like putting the boots to him, and like, I don't know, man. It got me fired up. I was in the moment.
That's what I'm saying, man. When you get like the adrenaline starts pumping and you're hammered. Well, I was hammered. I don't know how drunk you were.
No, I was pretty drunk.
Okay, so like it's weird. It's weird, right? It's like there's some weird innate thing just fires up, and then now it's just like it's all fight. There's no flight. There's no reason. There's no rationale. You're just like. That's what the guy barely got his hand up. When
the bartender, who was a buddy of ours, because this was like mine and Moose's like spot. Yeah, like we literally lived like we could walk to where we lived.
You guys were regulars.
Yeah, we were there every night we were there. And so it's just like the guy at the bar, he kind of had a hold of me, and I was like trying to like kick him. So I didn't really connect a couple times I did, and I did have boots on at the time, which was kind of bad. Yeah. But so they got it on video and stuff. I guess everybody gets a pretty good laugh at Moose getting punched in the face up there. But I guess it got some good laughs. But anyway, yeah, that was the last time I got a fight. We got our whole bill comped. We didn't pay anything that whole night. We probably had like a $60 tab between the two of us, and they comped the whole thing and gave us a whole bunch of shots like the rest of the night for free, and like let us drink for free. So shout out to them. They're no longer in business. I don't want to support the owners of that bar anymore. It's not my place, so I'm not going to name the name. But
okay. Well, and it's not open.
But I always said that was a gay on straight hate crime.
Oh my god! Maybe you shouldn't.
Yeah, you shouldn't say that, especially not on the air.
I feel like we were really cool about it. Like, I don't like have any problem with gay people at all, and he was really upset that like.
The thing is, if it was a gay on straight hate crime, he would have punched any straight person that he saw.
That's true. Yeah.
And not the specific.
Yeah, but he just had an agenda, and I don't know why. Like, I don't know what the deal was, but
well, it sounds like he was probably just shit faced.
Yeah. I mean, he was.
And he's probably embarrassed.
Maybe,
right?
Maybe read the room.
You don't even know. Like, he might not be outed.
I honestly feel bad about it. Like, I was like, God damn it. Like, but you know, like again, I got amped up, and it was just hard to like this guy fucking pissed me off, and he like punched my friend in the face.
I think I firmly believe this. Like, it shouldn't make you feel any worse that he was gay.
It doesn't make me feel bad that it was gay.
Like, what you did to the guy. I don't know that guy that I punched wasn't gay.
True.
Gay people go to strip clubs all the time.
But the whole situation makes me feel bad. Like, I wish, like, I don't have, that was when I realized that I no longer like being in fights. I no longer wanted to do that. Yeah. And it's better just to take the high ground and not really, be involved. Absolutely. Like, honestly.
Now, I will say, Tyler, if me and you are at a bar and somebody hits you, I'm going to hit that person back. Like, I mean, it's just gonna happen. And then I'll be here going, no, restart the clock.
I don't think
last bar shot was 36.
I don't think that I would go as hardcore as what I did, though. You know what I mean? Like, trying to kick him while he's down. Or whatnot.
No, I don't know that I've got that killer instinct.
No, I just don't have that anymore. Like, that's just like, man.
Wait, does he have a "Make America Great Again" hat on?
No,
because I'll tell you that would no. I'm saying in this hypothetical scenario where someone walks up and hits me,
he's got a MAGA hat.
He's got a MAGA hat on. Like, I feel like that would be like,
I'd probably like shove that. I don't know. Down in his throat.
I saw red. I saw the red hat.
And then it becomes a hate crime.
Yeah.
Then it becomes
a hate crime.
That would be a straight on gay hate crime.
It's like, no, I just know that it's like, because it's different, right? Because you're just like, man, I don't like you as a person, and I know that, and I want to thank you because you're wearing that hat.
Is that what is that is that like assaulting the mentally handicapped? Is that what that is? Like,
Well, no, I was just thinking it's some sort of political, like, I don't know.
it's
some sort of political assault.
It could be the first shots of the new Civil War.
Well, he fired the first shot. He hit you. I'm not going to hit anybody,
yeah.
and just anybody that's in a MAGA hat, especially not here, like in Southwest Missouri. There's a hell of a lot more of them.
Shoot you.
He'll have more than 6 buddies that back him up.
He'll shoot you.
Yeah, he'll shoot you.
Everybody's carrying. You can see
Stand my ground.
Right. Every car on the street stops. People start flooding out. Get him.
It's a mob.
But next, the next time I feel like if I ever got in a fight would probably be like the road rage, like somebody like the other day.
Oh my God. You're running someone off the road.
Like-
Get out the car. We're settling this now.
Just the other day, for example, I'm just like I'm at this like intersection, and it's real weird to get out of, and it's like there's 2 lanes of traffic on both ways, and then there's a divider in the middle, and it's like so it's like you can't really, there's no real good way to turn because people are turning in there. So if you're turning out and you're going across traffic, the only way to really get in there and not block traffic is like use the center lane and then like scoot over from the center lane. And I did that. I got in the center lane, and this guy in the other lane like honks and like flips me off.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, like I wasn't getting in your lane. I was getting in the center lane. Like I wasn't even, and like, dude pissed me off. So I fucking hunted him down, and I fucking got beside him, and I was like, fuck you, motherfucker. And fucking pissed me off.
Okay. So Tyler's.
So one of these days, like I'm going to fucking do that. And I'm going to get out, and I'm going to fucking threaten to whoop somebody's fucking ass, and then they're gonna come after me, and I'm gonna stand my ground, and then I'm gonna fucking whip out my goddamn nunchucks, and I'm gonna nunchuck them
Because the nunchucks came.
The nunchucks are here. I got them.
I can see the police asking for this episode in the future.
Yeah. No
Hey,
shit.
He premeditated.
This is
this, right?
premeditated at this point, Tyler.
So we got
like,
Tyler with an assault with some nunchucks.
You should
and,
probably
I've
just
heard that it's premeditated.
tell the listeners what you drive so they know to stay the fuck away from you.
Do you want me to beep out nunchucks as well?
Huh?
Do you want me to beep out nunchucks as well?
No, you can leave that.
Yeah,
Like,
nunchucks
So
are
they
okay.
won't. So the
Culturally
audience won't know
explicit.
what you're coming for.
Yeah.
Coming with them for.
He's already. Yeah, no, that's exactly
Element
right.
of surprise.
They're not as like you pull out the nunchucks and they'll be like, "Oh shit, are you Tyler from Critically Unacclaimed?"
I'd be like, yeah, you have
I listen to your podcast all the time, and you're like, "Well, drive better, man.
Drive better. Here's a sticker.
Looks like this saved you.
I got a button for you."
Put-
That would instantly disarm you. You'd
Right.
just be like, "Oh,
what's up, dude?
I
How's
can't
it
nunchuck a fan."
Yeah.
This saved you an ass kicking.
Oh man. Well, this has been good. So most of the time we come up and we're like, this is what we're going to do, and then we don't do it. This time we were like, I don't really know what we're going to talk about, and we did this. It's been enjoyable, guys. I really appreciate it.
We got the Weekend Geek Lab.
I know. I'm transitioning.
Let's do it.
We ready?
Yeah,
Yeah, hit it.
Geeky. I'm fucking geek. Exactly. All right. Fucking geek.
Just so you nerds are aware.
Weekend Geek. That's right, Unacclaimers. It's Weekend Geek, and we're looking at Loki episode 2.
What'd you think of it with the big reveal at the end? Just jump into the end.
No, do you want it, Lady Loki?
Yeah,
But didn't we already know that? Wasn't that like the worst kept secret?
Yeah, it's been a rumor for a hot
a
minute.
long time. Yeah,
But there was a lot of other things in this show.
that's why I wanted to go right to it. I also think that I'm glad that everybody knew it was going to be like a Lady Loki.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did it in the second episode.
2, right?
Yeah.
Because now
It
it's
would
just like
suck
she's
if
like
it
a
was
main
like,
character. Probably
like they
right?
tried to make that the big reveal in like episode 9.
That would suck. Yeah.
Yeah, that would really.
How
that
many
would be
episodes
terrible.
is Loki going? Is it 9? Is it going 9?
You know what? I don't want to say. 'Cause
I'll
I don't-
look
I'm
it
not-
up.
Yeah, you Google that. So, a couple things of note here. I loved the whole like premise of hiding in Armageddons.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. That was super cerebral, right?
Made a lot
like
of
they
sense,
come up with
too.
that, and you're like, oh, that's crazy.
That makes perfect sense.
There's a timeline where everybody gets wiped out, so it doesn't matter, and that's where they're hiding.
So does time travel in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I don't know what I said the first time, doesn't it make more sense than a lot of time travel stuff?
So I
they
think
try to explain it a little bit better by not explaining it.
I think with this series, we'll find out that there's not time travel in the MCU. That they're actually just jumping from
multiverse
to multiverse, and you cannot actually affect the flow of time. You can just create a new timeline.
I don't think the timekeepers exist.
See,
I'm
I've
wondering,
been wondering
or maybe
about
they're
that.
gone.
And they've been gone for a really long time.
Yeah.
So Owen Wilson is starting to kind of doubt things, and you can tell.
Well, I think that's why he's got.
yeah,
He's
Loki.
starting to question things because he's like, I haven't. Oh, how are the old timekeepers?
Right.
I've never met them. And she's like, and she's even like not lying well.
I think that his character has always doubted them. It just now he has Loki to prove that they don't exist. I think that he's never had any leverage to prove it.
Is that his agenda?
I think that's his agenda.
He's trying to figure something
or
out.
maybe
too.
or maybe Loki's kind of the crutch, right? Like he's always had that like deep seated feeling in the back, but Loki just keeps feeding it. Like what makes you think that they really exist? You never met them,
Right, and Loki asks good questions too.
Yes, he does. But it does. The thing I liked about the apocalypse like time jumping is it's like. Because we talk about time travel in IRL, in real life, and we're like, well, the reason we know time travel doesn't exist, or at least you can't go backwards in time, is because no one's ever came back and said they were a time traveler. Although that happens all the time, but they end up just being crazy on Quaaludes or whatever.
There was one guy that I thought was real convincing who did that, and but he said that Trump won the election. And then later on, like aliens come, and I was kind of convinced by him. He had a lot of good stuff that he said because it like everything had come up, but Trump didn't end up winning the election again. So,
well, it's because he came back in time and warned us, and we stopped it from happening.
oh, maybe do we live in an alternate timeline?
I don't know, but the fact of the matter is,
by the way, there's 6 episodes of Loki.
there's 6. There's only 6.
I know that
Oh
seems
my
like
gosh,
it's
that's
going
crazy.
really slow for 6. That means
Yeah.
that means that like they have to like speed like Marvel
No.
does that though. The last few they always kind of speed up.
How is it going
happen.
slow? They did one episode where they explained everything, and then the second episode has literally they've already like tracked down the main like antagonist.
If that's the main
And Loki's
antagonist,
and Loki's ran out, and they're already shedding doubt on the is it the TVA?
Yeah.
They've already shedded doubt on the TVA. So like this is actually seems like hyperspeed, like right? Like I mean we're
I don't know. I thought the first episode was a little slow. Second episode kind of started slow. There's a lot of
first episode,
conversation.
though, they had to explain literally everything that was going on.
That's true.
I'm terrible about starting a point and not finishing.
Yeah, go
it.
ahead,
So
finish it,
the
sorry.
reason that I like the apocalypse time jump so much is it makes it in real life that you're like, man, maybe in 20 years we do develop time travel, and maybe we come up with the concept that we don't want to shatter the timeline, and that there's people already been going back in time, but they've been doing the exact same thing because they don't want to affect the timeline.
So they just
like
go
that
back.
seems like a super cool concept that makes a lot of sense. I love that.
Right.
Like that has real world applications with time travel.
Jeff Bezos.
Jeff Bezos, it goes back to
Start Amazon.
Pompeii and the super volcano that destroyed the dinosaurs, or the comet, or the ice age, or whatever the fuck destroyed the dinosaurs. He goes back there all the time.
Just to visit, just like as a
Do you think it'd be
tourism thing?
Jeff Bezos, or you think it'd be Elon Musk? Elon Musk seems like the weird kind of guy that probably has time traveled. He just seems like he's got a big secret
Maybe.
that he wants to tell
I think
everyone
he could
that he
be
can't.
alien, but
Yeah,
You think Elon might be an alien?
What benefit would you have going back to apocalypses, though?
Well, no, that's how you go back in time
And then you-
without rupturing the timeline. Same thing with the show. They go, hey,
But
it
then-
turns out that after we've done our math, we've done the science,
Right.
we've showed our work, if we affect the timeline, it'll destroy the space-time continuum. So we can't do that. But we can go back in time. So they say not to push this red button, but we're humans. So then we figure out a way to be able to push the red button without destroying the space-time continuum.
Right, just doing it because we can.
We do a lot of shit just because we can. I mean, shit.
Hey, if you could go back in time, where would you go? What was the first thing you do?
If
would you go back and fix something in your past? Would you go back and
so like that's actually a really good question and probably an entire podcast. But I will say that I can't help but think that I wouldn't use it for personal gain, which is sad. Most people are like, I'll stop 9/11. Although College Humor does a really good sketch about trying to stop 9/11. And you realize that there's not really, like, just because you're, like, if I went back in time, Brandon Andrews, could not stop 9/11. Like, that's not a thing that I could do.
Right.
Because there's not, I mean... they knew that shit was going to happen, and they still couldn't stop it. So, like, and you say you, like, shoot baby Hitler or whatever, but, like, that doesn't really work either. Like, American exceptionalism started, like, really after World War II. So, like, this country would be incredibly different if there wasn't a World War II, or if World War II was not fascist Nazis.
True. So we're getting off topic, but anyway, I was just curious.
Yeah, no, I would probably use it for personal gain, Tyler.
Yeah, so would I.
Like, I know the winners of every Super Bowl for the last 20 years.
No, I would just tell myself to invest in a certain stock. Probably
Amazon,
Google.
Something like that.
I think I probably would have been too young for that. They would have been already too big.
Yeah.
Probably would have jumped on Amazon or Tesla. But I've been like, just invest all your money into Tesla. Like,
no, I mean, it would be super easy to, like, go back to. I mean, you can go back and...
like, tell your grandparents to invest in something.
Yeah, I couldn't go back and tell my dad. I could tell my grandparents. I couldn't tell my dad.
Get your family some generational
wealth. My dad
wealth.
doesn't invest.
Oh, I could tell my dad. Yeah, he could invest in some stuff.
My dad wouldn't do it.
And anyway, so, with the big reveal in this was obviously Lady Loki. Now, did you see that her name ain't Lady Loki?
Yeah, I heard about that. I watched through the credits.
What is it?
It's like Siri.
Sylvie.
Sylvie, that's it. Sylvie Loffer or something.
They didn't have a last name. It was just...
No, there is. There's a spot.
Is there a goddess? Like, isn't Loki actually the real name of the goddess or the god of mischief?
Yes.
Okay, so...
in the Marvel Comics, it's the Enchantress.
Right.
Yeah.
Sylvie is the Enchantress.
Oh, okay. So that's not the real name of the goddess of mischief.
No.
Most gods have a goddess that's a counterpart to
Yeah.
them. Like, there is a goddess of war, and there is a god of war, goddess of the sun, god of the sun, sort of thing. So I thought maybe that was where they went.
That her being Enchantress would be pretty perfect because she does impersonate other characters a lot. Like, that's kind of like part of her thing.
Did you like how she could jump? I thought at first she was like possessing them, but she's not. She was just using some kind of power,
mind control.
cause some kind of enchantment.
Yeah, because that's what Loki says.
To pass it along.
Using enchantment is like a rudimentary form of magic.
Like easy, something easy to do.
He does the same thing in Avengers.
Yeah, he does.
No, he uses the Mind Stone though.
Like, but he uses the same power, but it's derived from the.
Yeah, I think when you get it from the source like that, it's a little bit more heavy duty.
Well, it's Loki. He's a hypocrite.
Yeah, it's true.
So, but no, it was a really good episode. They definitely think that Loki's a bad guy. Episode
with
3 is going to start out with him.
Well, he left. Like, she opened the portal and he followed her.
Now,
and let's talk about what she did though. Like the whole, we talked about they were stealing the charges. And what she was doing though, she was just dropping them into certain points, and like it was like creating like a multiverse.
Right.
So did she just create the multiverse in this episode?
Did she not send them to the TVA?
No, she sent them to important points in history. Like there was the Battle for New York in the first Avengers movie, Ragnarok.
Did she?
There was.
Did I miss that?
She just dropped them to different points and then just set them all.
But they don't show the scene where they actually drop them. Do they?
Yes.
No, it doesn't show that, but it says the location. It said like New York, 2000.
No, they're the little squares, like the little things that they come through. Like the TVA, they like open up like the little doorways. She just opened up. She had those bombs, like the little charges, all set to go off at a certain time.
Well, I followed that.
And then they all opened up, and they dropped through, and they dropped at different points in time.
And I saw the timeline and all the craziness.
And Grayson was right. All they do is just erase everything in the path.
Yep.
So
because Ego was one of them, so she bombed Ego, which is Star-Lord's dad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was Ego. There was a few like really.
Did she
interesting
just
points
erase the entire Marvel timeline?
I think she
Nowhere.
started a multiverse.
or not nowhere. The place where you get the Spirit Stone, the Soul Stone, Volcamir.
Volcamir, yeah.
Yeah, she bombed. That was one of the locations that was bombed. So I thought that like there was a lot of very specifically chosen points in history that she went back and completely deleted.
That's
I wonder what they're. Do you think they're going to
Crazy.
reboot the whole thing? Like,
No.
I was thinking about that. Like, what if they reboot?
What a perfect way! It's like, oh, we
'cause
actually deleted.
They're doing like. Think about this. They're doing Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that this Spider-Man movie is going to be like a Spider-Verse type of movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They've already got the Spider-Verse animated show that they're doing, and that's tied in. This is a way you could do and kind of reboot everything without rebooting it. Getting Tom Holland to be part of the Venom movies.
That's
like
how-
you could
that's
do.
how they
You could
can
get all
replace.
these things. You could use the X-Men that they have. You could. I know like Hugh Jackman is a big like. I think Marvel really wants Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and I think that we're going to see that.
Same
It
thing.
kind of pisses me off, but I think we're going to see it.
Getting Killmonger as Black Panther.
Yeah, there you go.
That's something. So Michael B. Jordan could come back and play a Black Panther.
is him and Shuri the only two options?
Right now, I think it's only Shuri.
Yeah, I do too. Well, because Michael B. Jordan's dead.
But I think that's easy.
Killmonger's
I
dead.
think
That's easy to explain, though. They have enough technology there. You could say that they
They
saved
can
him
bring him
before
back,
he
right?
died.
Yeah.
Like,
M'Baku could be a choice. I wouldn't mind that of the other tribe.
taking
Dope.
over.
What about the leader of the the Vizier? No,
the guys
the
in blue?
Dora Milaje.
no
The guys
the
in
Do-
blue. Oh, the girl.
The Dora
no,
Milaje.
Michonne.
Michonne. Yeah.
No,
Because
she can't.
they're guardians. They're like the Secret Service. They
Yeah.
don't take a side.
It'd be. I think it's.
Well,
only
the
Shuri.
Black Panther's supposed to be the king, so Shuri would be legitimately the next
And
heir.
technically, she is the next heir, but she'd
she's
have
the
to win
queen.
in
Yeah.
the fight.
Yeah, with
And like-
M'Baku.
And then,
And-
or
but the
whoever
thing is
wants to fight her.
Yeah, but maybe nobody does. Like M'Baku's a good guy now, right?
Right,
Like
pretty
that's-
much, I think,
Yeah.
yeah.
So maybe they just decide she's the one.
but when you get your chance,
But she's also super young. Like she's super smart, but she is super
She's
young.
also super small.
She's tiny.
I
As a
just
tiny
don't,
Black
I don't
Panther.
see her as a Black Panther really, but as a superhero. But maybe.
Panther. What's a panther kitten called? Google it. No, I'm kidding. All right. So yeah, so we went way off the rails again. Anyways, this episode was really, really good.
I
Like,
thought- no,
I mean, like,
I
I'm
like this
super
show.
interested, and I didn't even pick up on the fact that that's where those orbs went. So the next episode is going to be insane.
This is
when
why
we
you
get
gotta,
out.
I know you said you don't rewatch the shows, but you need to rewatch
Well, I
them.
kind of
That
figured
was
we'd
another-
watch it when I got here. We were going to go get food.
I know,
And then we
right?
were going to come back and watch the episode
Things
and
are
then
out of
podcast.
whack. Things are out of whack.
when all of the bombs went off, all of the other agents were going to prune those other timelines, leaving the TVA unattended.
Oh,
So and that's another reason why we see the one judge lady. She picks up her melting stick. I don't know
yeah,
what
no,
those-
the all hands on deck.
The
Everybody's got to go.
I did figure-
So the
I do like how
TVA's
they call that.
abandoned.
Yeah, and so I
Do you think that's where they went?
I think that's where Lady Loki is going next.
She's going after the timekeepers. We're going to find out there's no timekeepers
Yep.
next
So
episode.
we figured out what Loki's main motivation is too. Is he wants to take over? Like he wants to take over the TVA.
yeah.
That's the ultimate power, and if you have that ultimate power, you can do whatever
Or you can
want,
do whatever
right?
you want. You can go to any timeline anywhere.
Do you think that that's what he wants
Yes.
to do, or
Yeah,
do you think
absolutely.
he's telling her
No,
that's
I
what
think
he
that's
wants
what
to
he
do?
wants to do. Like, and this Loki is not the one. He does not have the same experience as the other Loki, and has not come around to Thor. This Loki
So,
would not sacrifice himself to save Thor.
I don't know about that. When Loki was going back and rewatching,
You think he may have-
Frida die and
Do you
seeing
th-
himself?
I
Die.
don't think so.
I
I
In the
think-
episode 1, when he breaks down to Owen Wilson, do you guys think that was an act? When he's like, I
is that
don't
what
want to
you're-
kill, I don't want to hurt people, like it's just what's expected of me.
I think that was real.
Is that what you're talking about,
Yeah.
Grayson?
Yeah.
You think that like breaking him down, like?
Yeah.
So I think that
I thought they
Again,
were trying to get him to
I
where
do
the
think-
Loki was.
I do
Yeah.
think I don't think that he got there. I think he just went another direction. Like this is
You're right.
something different.
It
right?
is a completely
so like now
different
he's
Loki.
like, oh, like I could protect all these people that I love, you know, like, and I have I
when-
want this power to be able to do this.
when you talked about are they rebooting the universe? My first thought when I saw Loki like watch his mom die is reimagining that scene and him saying, "Oh, go to the left instead of going to the right."
Yeah.
Because that's like he has that knowledge now, and if he ever gets to that moment in his life again, he could say, "Oh, hey, dark elves, take that other stairwell and don't go kill my mom." And how would that completely change the MCU? So,
I mean, fuck.
Right? And then are we
that
going?
that could do a whole bunch of stuff. Could prevent Ragnarok. That would that would change everything. Odin would be there for Thanos attacked. Like I mean that would in itself would be huge, right?
I
Just
appreciate
that
the
one little act.
Pompeii, and I appreciate that maybe they didn't want to do this, but I kind of wanted them to go to Ragnarok.
I did too. I think they
Like-
might.
Like
think
you
they
like
might
see
too.
Hela, and then you see him like slaughter like
Especially
a little
with Loki's dialogue, I could throw Bruce Banner on the Rainbow Bridge during Ragnarok, and it wouldn't ever matter. We don't ever see how Bruce Banner jumps to the Rainbow Bridge in Ragnarok.
supposedly he jumps, right, and he thinks when he lands
We
he's
don't-
going to
yeah,
like turn into the Hulk, and he
gets,
doesn't.
He gets all pumped up. We don't ever see him jump out. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping maybe we're going to get a scene of Loki going to Ragnarok and pushing Bruce Banner.
Giving him an old push.
Right. I think
that
that'd
would be kind of sick.
hilarious.
Actually, get a little.
That's one of the
revenge on
funnier scenes in Marvel where he just like lands
And breaks his
splack,
neck, like crumpled up.
and then just like rolls off into the water. That's fantastic. But yeah, so I'm excited about episode 3. We've got plans for the Black Widow movie on July 9th.
July 9th, not June 9th.
We're opening weekend of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
I am sure it is going to be crazy balls to the wall.
Yeah,
Most
but
likely.
you can just use the app and get the seats. So like,
Right,
I'm
you
not
can-
concerned with that at all.
No, I'm not either. Just finding 4
Oh,
seats.
Isn't it so great we don't have to deal with lines in movies
Right,
anymore?
you
If you
don't have to
guys
wait
still
in
deal with lines in movies,
Get good.
get good, man. Like,
Yeah.
get with the times.
Get right. So, a couple side notes on things that I've watched outside of Loki that are kind of geeky and weird and nostalgic.
Shoot, I'm interested.
So, and I know we're running press for time, so I'm not going to do a whole lot. But so I had my daughter.
I hope you're going to say the show. I hope you're.
We watched the new iCarly.
Oh, that's not the one.
No,
that's not the one I thought.
So
is it good though?
Yeah, no. For anyone that like our Carly was kind of in this weird range where like I was too old when the shows came out. Like I was in my late teens, early 20s. But my buddy Mike's daughter watched them, and so like I ended up watching some of the episodes, and they're actually really funny.
It's not a
Like,
bad show.
I actually really enjoy that show. But they've remade it.
Yeah, they're
but they
older.
didn't remake it. They continued it. So now Carly's like 26 years
Oh, that's
old, and her
awesome.
brother's 44, and like they're playing the parts that they did. They don't got all the characters back. My favorite character from the show back in the day was Gibby, and Gibby's went on to do movies, and he's on a show. I think he's on the Goldbergs, and then the one that plays Sam, who was the second biggest character in the old iCarly. Jeanette McCurdy, she's not acting anymore. In fact, she says she regrets everything that just like happened. She didn't like that. So they're not in the show, but like 3 or 4 of the main characters are back, and it was okay. It was definitely a little bit more adult themed. They made that show for the people that watched it when they were kids.
Watch it now.
Yeah. So like if you were 12 or 13 watching this show, like this show was perfect for you because now you're 26. I will say that there were a few like weird jokes that like seemed forced, that like just to make the show woke. I don't like forced wokeness.
Oh,
I don't
hate
like
that.
waking people up.
No.
Yeah, I don't like that. Like if it flows and it makes sense, that's great. But they like dropped some in that were just like, there was a really funny one. They had like a meme eraser. Like, how do you erase a meme from the internet? You always talk about like once it goes meme and it goes viral, like you can't bring that back. And they had this like it's this little girl, and she's like, I've created a meme eraser, and what it is I find a way to get 3 70-year-old white Republican senators to post those memes, and then no one will want to post them anymore. I thought that was kind of funny. They were like, I just find 3 70-year-old Republican senators and have them post the meme, and then nobody wants to use them anymore.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was cool. I thought that was kind of funny, but like there was a lot of weird stuff. Super kind of a liberal show though. Paramount Plus, I got it for a week for free.
Right.
I'm not going to pay for Paramount Plus.
It's not worth it?
Nah.
I've been thinking about trying it out. Did you watch the Mark Wahlberg movie on there?
I haven't yet. Infinite?
Yeah.
No, I haven't watched it yet.
Tell me,
I've still got about 4 days left.
I might have to borrow your login and watch that. I'm kind of curious. It looks cool.
Or we could just watch it together and be buddies.
Okay, cool.
That would be okay too,
Yeah.
right? Like, I got a 70-inch TV that
Movie
no one ever
time.
comes over and watches.
Hey, I watch plenty of football over there. Pretty much, that's like the only place I watch football. in
Well,
fact.
and I appreciate that.
Hey,
Tom.
I want to give my recommendation for a Netflix show. It was one that I think is really cool. It's called Sweet Tooth. It's fantastic.
Is it?
Yes.
I've heard good
It's
things.
awesome.
I've not checked it out
I
yet.
watched the first 5 minutes of the episode, and then, like, for whatever reason, something happened, and I never got back into it.
There's the premise of what it is. Basically, there's this virus that takes out everybody. Like, it's like 10 times worse than what Corona was, and like it still comes around every once in a while. But at the same time that the virus came out, that also started every baby that was born is this animal hybrid baby.
Okay.
And so there's like deer babies, and like the main character is a hybrid deer baby, and then there's like bird ones, there's skunk ones, goat ones, and they're really cool looking, man. Like they're really cute little babies.
Could you watch it with children? It's a PG.
It's supposed to be like a teen show.
Okay.
So like if you're like 11, like there's some cuss words in it, and like there's some violence and stuff. But
Carly said bitch.
It's
and
not,
I was like, what? Carly, apparently that's big on TikTok too. They're like, yeah, Carly, just say bitch.
That's awesome.
So, but that is kind of awesome. But there's a few swear words in it. I want to say that it's rated like TV 13 or something, so it would probably be all right for kids.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out with my daughter.
You got anything you've been watching?
Nothing. Full Bloom on HBO. It's a florist competition show.
You watch like all these competitions.
You know what's funny is like,
do you watch the Great American Bake Off?
No, I don't watch that one.
the only comment on our episode this week is going to be, Grayson, thanks for the recommendation. Full Bloom is awesome.
It's a good show. I like it's floristry, so they put together flower
Fellow
arrangements, and
botanists.
they have like, I don't know, a time restraint or a mission to accomplish, or
Kind of like an Iron
yeah,
Chef
like
or something.
one of those typical. It's also it's more of like uplifting judgment rather than like, oh, you really messed this one up.
Oh, I got you.
There's another show that you guys would probably like, Tyler. I think you'd really like it, and it's definitely not made for a 36-year-old dude. Like, I watch it with my daughter. We get into it, and like we were excited about it every week. And that's Big Shot. And I don't even know if I mentioned it on the podcast.
That's the one on
But
Disney Plus, right?
It's got John Stamos, and I like John Stamos, Uncle Jesse from Full House. And he takes over a high school basketball. Or he's a college basketball coach. Something bad happens, and he gets blackballed from college basketball, and on his road to like trying to get back, he gets a private prep school, like all girls high school team.
Oh, okay.
And there's really not that much basketball in it, to be honest with you. It's not a sports show. There's enough basketball that you can say it is, but it's really about the lives of him, his daughter, and his starting five. And it was actually a really enjoyable show, and I guess it's getting a season 2, so that's pretty
I have
exciting.
heard it's getting a season 2.
And it's
Did Mighty Ducks get a season 2?
I don't know, and I don't think it should. I think
No.
it ended fine.
I've heard not great things about Mighty Ducks.
It
Mighty
was-
Ducks was not.
it was awful.
Big Shot is significantly better than Mighty Ducks.
Mighty Ducks wasn't awful. It had enough nostalgia that it made it okay to watch. But man, I hated some of the tropes and stuff in it. The closing your eyes thing is the
Yeah.
dumbest fucking thing that I've ever heard in my life
No,
for a sports show.
Big Shot actually, Big Shot's actually better, and it's. I don't know. Me and Randy watched Game Changers, Mighty Ducks. Like, Emmy didn't even watch it with us, and I would say that Big Shot is set for an older, like 15 to 18. Game Changers is for children and their parents who watched Mighty Ducks when they were children. I think that's what it was geared
I
towards.
watch a lot of like YouTube shows. Like there's this one Victorian history channel that I watch a lot of. Heavy D Sparks. I love
Heavy D Sparks. I got everybody to subscribe so you can try to win a
Heavy D
helicopter.
Sparks has been doing
Yeah.
a ton of crossover. So he's crossed over with a mining, the
Oh.
Sarah Gordo Mine. Which
That was
a
awesome.
YouTube
That was a
channel
really
I
cool
watched.
series.
And then also Whistling Diesel. He's had a crossover here. I know you don't like Whistling Diesel, but
Whistling Diesel's okay. Just some of his shit's just kind of too ridiculous. For
see
me.
that's what I like about it. It's just outrageous stuff.
I do watch a lot of YouTube too. You guys don't even want to know the shit I watch on YouTube. It's crazy. All the Magic the Gathering and like all the race car shit, daily driven exotics.
Right,
I would watch
Yeah.
Star Wars Explained,
Yep.
and it would go real deep into the Star Wars thing.
It's called In Deep Geek, and then what's the other one that I watch? There's a Lord of the
Film and Comics Explained.
Yeah,
That's one
there's
that I like.
there's a lot of them. I really
There's
kind of enjoy those, and I've been watching. So I'm really into Diablo 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm back into gaming a little bit, which has kind of helped me stress release from work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll even go home on lunch and like do 30 minutes and do like a 30-minute gaming session. But so I've been watching a lot of like Diablo 3 Mythos stuff, and then watching like playthrough and like strategy tips. And then I watch Axis and Allies videos, strategies too, even though I don't have anybody that'll actually fucking play with me. Like I love that
my
board
brother
game.
likes playing, but
Yeah,
he's
but
just never
me and your
around.
brothers like never.
Yeah.
Our schedules
Did
never.
you end up
mesh.
opening the
I
box?
wish you. No, I did not. Just so we're clear, I did not open it. Well, no, I haven't had a game. I can't get.
He's like, I would probably play, but I haven't. Been able
Tyler
to.
has decided he hates it. He hates the game.
Here's the thing. It's a lot of work, man, and then I
Give me
always
some-
lose.
Give
It's
me
like,
some risk.
You
I'll play some
won the
risk.
last time you were on my team.
did it?
Yeah, 1914. We won.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't even fair.
I
It
got
was
Lord,
like,
I got Lord of the Rings Risk. I'll bring that over sometime.
Why don't
Oh.
you play Axis and Allies with me, Grayson?
I've never played Access.
Oh my God. Okay,
I think
no, that's
Grayson would
fine.
like Axis
Grayson
and
would
Allies,
probably dig it. Okay,
We'll
so
get a game going.
next week. We'll talk about me and Grayson's first game of Axis and Allies, because that's gonna happen, and we'll talk about Tyler's lesser drunken stories. And,
on the build up.
and then I had
let's be
something.
honest.
What else did we do?
Loki.
But no. What didn't I told you to write it down? Oh no, that was that. That
Yeah,
was the
the
lesser.
story. The
Man,
story.
we've got like a whole jam-packed episode. Tune in next week,
Tune in
Unacclaimers.
next week. I guess that's the episode. So
Yeah, absolutely.
we appreciate it. Like, follow, subscribe.
Always.
You can find us on Facebook, Critically Acclaimed, Unacclaimed Pod, Untyler Hicks. Find Brandon's Facebook. It's available. Give it a share. That'd be sick.
Find us on our page or our public profile, Critically Unacclaimed, and check us out, man. And hey, and guys, if you're not following us on Podbean and you're listening to us every week, follow us on Podbean. Like, turn in, and I'll tell you, the last 3 weeks has been a little sketchy on when we've dropped our episodes, and Podbean will give you a notification as soon as a new episode drops. So
You can do that on YouTube too. You can
Yeah.
hit the bell.
Just follow us
Well,
on all our categories.
We're just a bunch of beggars. Just help us out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And tell your friends. But we are the best damn podcast no one listens to. Critically Unacclaimed.
And they should.
Straight from the mud like Ruby. Straight to the stage, they love me. I understand they hungry, but please don't hate, that's ugly. I've been sliding, shaking, moving. I've been popping in my city. Shawty say she love the way we do it with me. I be too turned up to ever give a fuck. I ain't come to argue, let a nigga fuck. They been talking pennies, I need bigger bucks. About to catch a flight, I need to switch it up. Got that black boy joy, might do my dance on him. Take no disrespect, might put my hands on him. Hit this chicken, now she wanna marry me. But she gon' need some closure and some therapy. Came back to the city with my bank account on F. Giving rappers hell, I know they happy that I left. Hit the south in winter, I just put down my deposit. 82 degrees, I left that jacket in my closet.
I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that say stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Feel I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up. They got amnesia, don't remember how they played us. They wanna knock me down, but somehow I just stay up.
Hey, look. Came in with the what's that? Left out with the who she. Laying game like 2D,
I've been kicking shit like Bruce Lee. Margarita to the brim tip. Black denim need a slim fit. Same people that I flex with be the ones that I'm in the gym with. I'm a living legend, you a dead cause, and I'm dead ass. No, I'm dead, right? Leaving early, but I'm here night. Long and short to keep the head right. Teed up out in Malibu, got sand all in my good shoes. Press a nigga with the pessimism, but I only came for the good news. I am the show that they came for, hitting the target I aim for. We been discussing the contract, just telling they get what they paid for. I am not fucking with poverty, really it started to bother me. I need the yacht with the property, they come with the view that you gotta see. Came up from the basement, hit the rooftop with a passion. Bad bitch with some good credit and a good sense for the fashion. Dope blowing with the left hand, ass gripping with the right hand. Uber share to the airport, I'ma hit you back when my flight
I'm
land.
in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up.